Here's the translation to American English. What's up, Broncos country? Are you ready for what could be the most dangerous game of the season? That's right, you heard me. While everyone's celebrating that epic victory against the Eagles in Philadelphia, there's a storm brewing on the other side of the Atlantic. London, Jets, and a word nobody wants to hear. Trap, stick with me until the end of this video because I'm going to show you why this matchup against the worst team in the league could be exactly the game that determines if our team is mature enough to compete for the playoffs. The Denver Broncos family needs to understand what's at stake this Sunday. Let's go! Check out the situation, Broncos country. Our team starts the week with 4 wins in 5 games. The defense is flying. Bo Nix finally showed he can command this offense. And Nick Bonitto, man, this kid is playing at an insane level. 2.5 sacks against the Eagles. The man is hungry for opposing quarterbacks, but now comes the character test. Because it's one thing to beat a good team when everyone's focused. It's a completely different thing to go to London, face a team with only 1 win this season, and maintain focus. And that's where the danger lies, family. The Jets are desperate. 1-4 on the year. The entire organization is on fire. And when you put a desperate team against another that might be too relaxed, that's the perfect recipe for chaos. Let me tell you something about these London games. They're weird. The crowd doesn't really root for either side. You'll see more retired player jerseys than guys actually on the field. The atmosphere is neutral. The energy is different. And football players live off energy. They live off the crowd pushing them. In London, silence, or that polite noise from people who don't really understand what's happening. This messes with athletes' heads, especially the younger ones. And our team, although they're playing great, is still young at several key positions. And there's more. Jet lag is real, family. When you cross 5-6 time zones, your body gets completely disoriented. You're there physically, but mentally, you're somewhere else. The Broncos arrived in London midweek, but it's not the same as being home in your routine. Let's talk about our defense, which has been simply dominant. 5 games, and we still haven't scored a defensive touchdown. Still haven't. But against the Jets? Man, if there's a team that's going to gift wrap the ball, it's this New York team. Their offense is completely lost. The offensive line doesn't protect anyone. The quarterback is running for his life. And when you have Nick Bonitto coming off the edge like a guided missile. This could be the game, Denver Broncos family. The game where we finally see one of our guys pick up that fumble in the air and run it to the end zone. Nick Bonitto is playing at another level. He's not just fast, he's technical. He studies the offensive tackle, notices tendencies, knows exactly when to explode. And it's not just Bonitto either. We have depth on the defensive line. We have guys coming in rotation and maintaining the same level of intensity. The linebackers plug the holes, cover tight ends, blitz at the right time. It's a complete unit that works like an orchestra. And the secondary? The cornerbacks are confident. The safeties are reading the game before the ball is thrown. Against the Jets, we can be aggressive in the defensive game plan. We can put pressure from the first snap. We can blitz on 3rd and short. When you pressure a quarterback who's already insecure, what happens? Mistakes, fumbles, interceptions, sacks. I'm predicting at least 4 sacks in this game and at least 1 turnover. Something's going to happen, family. Now let's go to the other side of the ball. Bo Nix is a rookie. Yes, he played great in Philadelphia. Yes, he showed progression. But he's still a kid learning to play in the NFL. And this isn't criticism. Denver Broncos family. It's reality. Against the Jets, Bo Nix will face a defense that doesn't scare anyone. They have communication breakdowns, alignment errors, moments where it seems like everyone's playing their own game. This opens up opportunities. Bo Nix is smart. He'll notice these flaws. But there's one fundamental piece that needs to work. J.K. Dobbins. This guy has to explode on Sunday. He has to touch the ball 20, 25 times. He has to crush the Jets' defense with carry after carry. Because when you establish the run, everything becomes easier, and the Jets' run defense, pathetic, family. Teams have been running all over them all season. 100 yards here, 120 there. They can't stop anyone. Dobbins isn't decent. Dobbins is excellent. If the offensive line does its job, this guy could have a historic game. I'm talking about 130, 140 rushing yards. I'm talking about 3 touchdowns. And it's not an exaggeration. The talent is there. The opportunity is there. and offensive coordinator Sean Payton will have the perfect game plan. He'll exploit every weakness. He'll use play action, tight ends in the middle of the field, running backs releasing to the flat. Against the Jets, we don't need tricks. We need the offensive line opening holes, the running back gaining 5 yards per carry, and Bo Nix completing easy passes. Hey, if you're true Broncos country and want to follow all the analysis, every game, all the excitement of our season, subscribe to the channel now. Hit the bell because we don't stop. It's content every day for the Denver Broncos family. Now let's talk about what the experts are predicting. There's a clear consensus. Broncos win, but it won't be easy. Projections are around the Broncos scoring between 24 and 30 points, while the Jets stay in the 13 to 21 range. Nobody expects a blowout. And you know why? Because these London games are unpredictable. Everyone's talking about a trap game. Every expert, every analyst. Watch out for the Jets. Don't underestimate them. When everyone says the same thing, it becomes a narrative. And narratives have power. The Broncos players themselves have been hearing this all week. And when you hear it so much, one of two things happens. Either you get too paranoid and play tense, or you relax thinking everyone's talking nonsense, and then you actually fall into the trap. Sean Payton's challenge this week was exactly this: how to prepare the team to take the Jets seriously without creating paranoia. This is the type of situation where an experienced coach makes a difference. And Payton is experienced, but at the end of the day, the players are the ones who execute. And that's where locker room leadership comes in. Who are the guys who will hold things together if the game starts badly? This type of test separates good teams from great teams. And there's an additional factor, the travel. Being away from home, from family, from routine is mentally exhausting. Football players are creatures of habit. There are guys who eat the same thing every Friday before the game. In London, none of that. Everything is different. The Broncos need to overcome this. They need to adapt quickly and take the field like it's just another Sunday in Denver. Let me talk about different scenarios that could happen on Sunday. Scenario 1. Broncos dominate from the start. We march down the field on the first drive and score. Defense forces a 3-and-out. Offense scores again. Quickly, it's 14-0. In this scenario, the strategy is simple. Keep doing what's working. Don't relax. Don't take your foot off the gas. Scenario 2. Balanced game in the first half. Back and forth, nobody can open up a lead. Sean Payton needs to make halftime adjustments. This is the type of game you win in the third quarter. And I trust that our coordinators are better than theirs. Scenario 3. The Jets start well. They get a touchdown on the first drive. We're down 10-0. This is the character test. Bo Nix can't panic. The defense can't get nervous. The team needs leadership. Scenario 4. Ugly game. Lots of mistakes on both sides. In this scenario, discipline wins. The team that doesn't commit stupid penalties, that doesn't fumble, that team wins. And which team is more disciplined? The Broncos? You know, country, last year the team did something similar. They went to West Virginia, spent a week away, and then played against the Jets. And you know what happened? Victory. So there's positive precedent here. Sean Payton understands that sometimes you need to break the routine to create unity. And this locker room connection makes all the difference when the game gets tight. A team that likes each other, that trusts each other, that team wins games they should lose. And I feel like these Broncos have that. You see it in the way they celebrate together, in the way they defend each other. There's special chemistry there, but let's be realistic too. Let's talk about what could go wrong. Injury is a real risk. Stupid turnovers can give away points. Refs can decide the game with questionable calls. Weather can interfere. The Jets could have that magical Sunday. We can only control preparation, execution, and effort. The rest are variables you accept. Time for my official prediction, family. Broncos 27, Jets 17. It won't be pretty all the time, but it will be a solid professional victory. The key players for this win: J.K. Dobbins needs 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's the key to everything. Nick Bonito needs to stay dominant. 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and maybe that defensive touchdown. Bo Nix needs to manage the game intelligently. 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The cornerbacks need to lock down the Jets' best receiver. Tight coverage the whole game. The offensive line needs to dominate. Protect Bo Nix, open holes for Dobbins, win the individual battles. If these elements work, victory is guaranteed. Look, Broncos country, let me speak directly to you. Expectations are high. After beating the Eagles, everyone's dreaming big. And it's okay to dream. Fans should dream. But we also need perspective. This team is still young. There will still be stumbles along the way. What's important is that the overall trajectory is positive. And so far it has been. So if Sunday's game is ugly, if we win while suffering, don't get discouraged. A win is a win. And if we lose, it's not the end of the world either. There are still 11 games ahead. What I'm asking is support this team regardless of the result. They need to feel that Broncos country is with them. Teams play differently when they know they have unconditional fan support. You know what gets me most excited, Broncos country? It's not even this season. It's what's ahead. Bo Nix is a rookie. He'll only get better. The defense is young at key positions. The offensive line is consolidating. And we have Sean Payton in command, a coach who's already won a Super Bowl. When I look at the Broncos, I see the beginning of something special. I see a window to contend opening for the next 4-5 years. And that gets me so pumped, family, but it all starts now. It starts with games like this Sunday, games that test the team's character. Win on Sunday and you take another step in this construction. Let me talk about discipline. Everyone wants to talk about amazing plays, but nobody wants to talk about the boring discipline that separates championship teams. Discipline is not committing stupid penalties on 3rd and long. It's the receiver blocking even when the ball isn't going to him. It's the defensive back maintaining containment even when he wants to make the tackle alone. It's the little things that don't appear in the highlights. And Sean Payton is obsessed with this. He demands excellence in every detail. Against the Jets, discipline will be crucial. There will be moments of frustration, and in those moments, you can't lose your head. A disciplined team breathes and executes the next play. So that's it, Denver Broncos family. We talked about everything, the trap danger, the preparation, the key players, the possible scenarios. Now, we just have to watch. We just have to cheer. I'm going with the Broncos 27, Jets 17. J.K. Dobbins explodes. Nick Bonito stays dominant. Bo Nix manages intelligently. And in the end, Broncos country celebrates. But regardless of the result, we're together, in victory and defeat. Because that's what it means to be family. That's Broncos country. Sunday is the day to show maturity. To show that we learned from our mistakes. To show that this team has character. So, Denver Broncos family, what's your prediction? How many touchdowns does Dobbins score? Does Bonito get that defensive touchdown? Drop it in the comments below. Leave a like, share with your friends, and stay tuned, because after the game, we'll be back with complete analysis. Let's go together, Broncos country. Sunday is the day to prove the Broncos are back to stay. Broncos country, let's ride. Until the next video, family.